Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah Jane. This is a reading from a tarot deck I co-created called Be With Your Body Tarot. This is a therapeutic tarot deck. Hopefully you'll get something out of this that will help you to feel a little bit more peace with your body just as you are. So while we're doing a few shuffles, why don't you take a moment and check in with your physical body. Notice what part of your body is touching the floor, the couch, the bed, the chair, whatever you are sitting or standing or being supported by. Feel that sensation of that support and take a couple deep breaths, maybe feeling your abdomen expand as you inhale and everything pull back towards the center as you exhale. Ooh. I got a couple jumpers. We'll talk about those in a second. So let's do a little 4-card Be With Your Body spread and see what is in the cards for us today. And we'll talk about these jumpers at the end. So at the center of the reading, we have where we're at, what our body wants us to know, and then our environmental influences. So let's start with this one, the 3 of Hands, which tells us that we are on our path. We have been putting plans into place and the train has left the station. So maybe there's some things that you have been working really hard for the past maybe couple weeks or months, or it's the end of the year, maybe something at the end of this year. And they want you to know that we are heading in that direction. You're on the right path. That is crossed by the Magician, which is our environmental influence. So this tells us that we have all of the magic that we need inside of us. This is like this beautiful, friendly reminder that you have everything that you need. And this is coming from our environment. And it's interesting because each of the major arcana have their own connection to a astrological sign or planet. And this one is connected to Mercury. We're in a Mercury retrograde right now. So maybe from some of the lessons you're learning in this Mercury retrograde, you are being reminded that, you know what, you do have the skills that you need. You don't need to continue to try to gather skills. You don't need to continue to try to seek outside validation for what you already know inside of you. And that is what this card is trying to remind you. And Mercury also rules over platonic relationships. So maybe this is showing up through friendships or people that you know not in a romantic way. So work relationships, people in your community, they're reminding you of all this goodness that you maybe have always known, but need a little bit of a reminder of all the goodness that you have inside of you. So we have this whole head and heart line. So in our mind, what's at the top of the mind is the Emperor. And the Emperor reminds us to find lots of structure, to feel supported so we can do the things that we want to do, right? So this can show up as you packing yourself a lunch. This can show up as you getting your oil changed on your car. Like, what is it that you need to make sure that is done, kind of the boring things, so that you can feel supported and you can feel safe and you can kind of then be able to do the magic that you have and let your plans go into action. So that might be where your head is right now. Maybe you're starting to make plans for this next year or this next week. How can you be supported in that? If you're about to travel or see family, like, what do you need to feel supported in that process? Do you need to pack extra snacks? Do you need to make sure that you have, earplugs? Like, what are the comforts that help you to feel safe in your body that you then can support yourself? So maybe that's what's at top of mind right now. What's in your heart? We have the 5 of Feet reversed. So you may have just gone through a big spell where you were sick, or there's been something showing up for you. And it could be related to your physical body. It could also be related to your money or your family. And that has now ended and you are feeling like the relief of no longer feeling that constriction around your physical body or your finances or whatever it is. So that's kind of showing up in your heart. Maybe you're feeling like a little bit of a pressure release. So that's really beautiful. And we got our past and future here. So the past is the 9 of Feet reversed. And this card reminds you when it's upright that you have a lot of gratitude for what's coming or what's happening in your life. It's reversed, which tells me that you've probably been working really hard at something and you feel like you should have been further along, than you needed to be. But this is a reminder that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and to notice what is working, notice where you can find some gratitude for the abundance that you have. Even if you don't have like this like abundance you think that you should have, I guarantee you that there are some things in your life that are working. So notice what is working. And then where we're headed, oh my goodness, it's so interesting. There's 2 9s. So you're kind of close to the end of a cycle. I mean, it is literally the end of this calendar year. I'm filming this on the winter solstice. But this tells me like that you have probably been putting a lot of work into your physical and your mental health. And you are in this process, when this one's upright, when this 9 is upright, it is about anxiety, overthinking, nightmares. When it's reversed, it's like you've been working really hard to release those things. So this tells me that a lot of the work that you've been doing, this is where you're headed. You will start to feel release and relief from those anxieties, which is really exciting. So the 2 cards that jumped out, we got the Hierophant and the Temperance reversed. And it's so interesting that I was kind of talking about like a teacher or a guide, or like, remember, like you do have the magic inside you. That is what the Hierophant is all about, is this guide. And so maybe there's been someone that you've been looking to lead you through this next path of your spiritual journey or whatever it is that you're trying to learn. And maybe it's time to remember that you can also be the teacher too. What inside of you, what wisdom inside of your body can teach you what you need to learn for this next little phase. And then we also have Temperance reverse, which tells me that maybe you're feeling a little bit out of balance. We are currently, when I'm filming this, again around the holidays. And so when you have a little burp, it means it's probably a confirmation of some insight that I'm getting through. So we are in the middle of the holidays. There may be a little bit of a lack of balance right now, right? A little bit of excess. And it's okay, obviously, to like experiment with different things and noticing when you kind of go too far in one direction, to try not to judge yourself too harshly on that, which maybe from what I can see, having the 5 of Feet be in your heart, that may have been something you've done in the recent past. But this is a reminder to like, in order, like sometimes we got to kind of go into the extremes to come back to a place of balance. And you might be in one of those extremes right now, whether it's like you're indulging a little bit too much or you're really depriving yourself. And it's a reminder to like come back to that middle space. So let's just to finish up this reading, let's take a little peek at the bottom of the deck to see any underlying wisdom. We have the 10 of Eyes, which is overthinking and maybe even like a little kind of stabbing yourself in the back mentally. And this is just a reminder. This is interesting because we got the 9 of Eyes and the 10 of Eyes. You're at the end of a cycle. You're kind of overthinking. You're done with it. So what kind of support do you need from your community or maybe from some sort of guide to help you to, pass through the end of this cycle and into maybe some peace and some inner connection with yourself? So that's what we've got for today. Thanks y'all so much for tuning in. I hope that this reading was helpful and supportive for you. I'm going to be doing these weekly, and I hope that this is a really great way for you to take some time and connect with yourself just as you are.